As we look and review these alleged accusations against Mr. Carter, the timeline and details that Jane Doe has provided in her formal complaint do not create a scenario in which any of the accusations are plausible or possible. Time doesn't lie. These accusations bring to question all details of the complaint, the reasonable timing of each moment, and how this all could have happened, which is irrefutably not possible. In her complaint, Jane Doe states that these points: she snuck out of her window and had a friend drive her to the VMA location, Radio City Music Hall. To get to the after-party, the drive from the VMAs to the residence was 20 minutes, that the driver had to drive Diddy to the after-party first from the VMAs, then come back to get her to bring her to the after-party, that Diddy and Mr. Carter were at the residence by the time she arrived, that after the alleged sexual assault, she navigated through the party to the exit and ran to the nearest gas station to call her father to pick her up, and that her father picked her up before dawn. To establish all of these alleged timings and make sense of a plausible timeline, we've started with the facts to understand the start and end to the alleged incident, which did not happen. Jane Doe, on the day and year, lived in Rochester, New York, over a 5-hour drive without traffic to Radio City Music Hall. The VMA's broadcast and show started at 8 p.m., which Jane Doe claims she watched outside on a Jumbotron. She would have had to leave her home at 2 p.m. to get to Radio City Music Hall on time to watch celebrities arrive, she claims, and be there for the start of the show. Jane Doe claims that her father picked her up before dawn on September 8th. Dawn on that day was at 6:29 a.m. For her father to drive from Rochester to pick her up, the latest the phone call from the gas station would have had to have been at 1:30 a.m. That establishes the start and end to our alleged timeline. Now let's work through the facts. The VMAs in 2000 ended at 11:11 p.m. Jane Doe said that the driver had to drive Diddy to the after-party, come back to get her, then drive her to the party. She also stated that the drive was 20 minutes. That in total would have been 20 minutes times 3, which is 1 hour total of drive time. The earliest the driver could have picked her up is at 11:51 p.m., making the earliest the driver could have dropped her off at the alleged residence is 12:11 a.m. Irrespective of the details of the residence, this now establishes that the earliest she could have been at the residence is 12:11 a.m. Now, for her to call her father from a gas station at 1:30 a.m., we have to establish how close is the gas station from the residence. Out of the possible locations for the white residence, the nearest gas station is 42-minute walking distance. That means that the latest that Jane Doe could have left the residence after the alleged incident is 12:48 a.m. That creates 37 minutes for this 13-year-old girl to be at the party, talk to celebrities, have a portion of a drink, and for the alleged sexual assault to happen. For her to run out of the house, be in an area she knows nothing about, knows no direction as to how to get anywhere in the middle of the night, and find her way to the nearest gas station 42 minutes away to call her father to pick her up. This is all assuming that everyone left exactly on time at 11:11 p.m. once the VMAs ended, that there was no traffic after the VMAs in the 3 drives the driver made to transport Diddy and Jane Doe to the party. This is also assuming that Diddy and Miss Lopez did not attend any other after-parties in the 1-hour period before Jane Doe arrived to the party, and separately, Mr. Carter either, and that without any directions in the middle of the night in an area she is unaware of, Jane Doe made it on foot to a gas station in 42 minutes. This is all not possible and irrefutably false. This alleged incident and timeline are not plausible, and this did not happen. This timeline is absolutely not plausible, as both Diddy and Miss Lopez are photographed at other VMA after-parties at commercial establishments at the time in question, and separately Mr. Carter as well, none of which are the described white residents in Jane Doe's complaint. In these pictures, you can see Diddy and Miss Lopez changed clothes from the VMAs, went to multiple commercial nightclubs, including Lotus and Twirl, and none were the White House described in Jane Doe's complaint. This incident did not happen. Now, to speak on the white residence that is described in Jane Doe's complaint, she describes it as a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway, and she says it was 20 minutes from Radio City. There are no houses matching Jane Doe's allegations within the 20-minute drive from Radio City Music Hall. To dive deeper into the details, there are 2 possible residences in Diddy's life during that period of time, but none match Jane Doe's description. There's a Manhattan townhouse that does not match the description. There's a Hamptons home over 2 hours drive away. There are 2 residences in New Jersey. One was sold in 1998, years before the alleged incident. One was purchased in 2004, after the alleged incident. In fact, there is no home in Manhattan gated with a U-shaped driveway. All in all, time doesn't lie. The location of Jane Doe's alleged incident does not exist. The alleged timeline of the incident is not possible. Diddy and Miss Lopez were at other after-parties at commercial establishments during the time in question. And separately, Mr. Carter was also at other after-parties at commercial establishments at the time in question.
Jane Doe's father even confirmed that he does not remember driving 5 hours both ways to pick up his 13-year-old daughter on the night in question. In addition, Jane Doe claims that she spoke to Benji Madden about his tattoo at the party at the White residence, but Benji Madden confirmed that he wasn't in attendance as he was on tour in a different state at the time. This event is provably false and did not happen.